welcome back. And I wanted to just do a video. I've never done a video like this before for, you know, like Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty or Sephora's VIB sale, but I thought I would go ahead and just share with you some higher end products that are definitely more on the pricey side that I'm really loving, that I would suggest maybe checking out during the sale, because, you know, higher end products are wonderful. I love them, but if I can get them on a deal, I'm all about it. So yeah, I'm just gonna share with you in no particular order. So let's jump into it. So I guess I would just go in order of how you would do your makeup. So we'll just do it that way. So first off, I want to talk about skincare. One thing that I've really been trying to take the time and invest the money in is some good skincare. I'm 33 years old. I'm starting to get fine lines and wrinkles, and that's just a reality of aging, and I have no problem with it, but you know, I want to age gracefully. So I've really been investing in some skincare, and one of the things that one brand that I've really been liking is Peter Thomas Roth, and I have just been really enjoying his product. The first thing I have is the Peter Thomas Roth Firm X Eye Lift Serum, and this is 36% Neuro Eyelid Complex. So this is a pricey item. It's about $86. I actually bought mine on QVC because I could just get them on Easy Pay. They have a great return policy, just to try them out. And I've had this since December, and I still have a ton of product left. I've got to say, I really enjoy this product. I really like it. I think it is a great product. I just kind of dab it on and press it into my eyelid morning and night. You know, last thing I do at night and first thing I do before I even put on any makeup in the morning. And I've got to say, I have noticed a difference. It's not a miracle change. It's not going to change overnight, but over the course of using this for about 6 months, 5-6 months, I have noticed a difference. I have noticed less texture on my eyelids, and I really like this. I think this is doing a great job. Another product from Peter Thomas Roth that I'm loving, and I talked about this a little bit in my collection video, is the Mega Rich Intensive Anti-Aging Eye Cream. Again, I've been using this for about 5 months, and I still have quite a bit of product left. That's probably going to last me another month and a half because it's so creamy and emollient. You don't need a lot of it. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend these if you have oily skin, but if you have dry skin, this is fantastic. And I have noticed less fine lines, less puffiness underneath my eye, less discoloration. I really am liking this product. And then I've also been loving the Peter Thomas Roth Mega Rich Intensive Anti-Aging Cellular Cream. Again, so I've just noticed an overall brightening of my skin, and overall evenness, less dryness, and I just like his products. I'm not saying you have to go and buy these specific products. Go and talk to somebody, read some reviews, you know, watch somebody's skincare video who has the same type of skin as you, whether it be oily, dry, whether you're worried about fine lines, textured eyelids, droopy eyelids, whatever it is. Go and talk to or, you know, read those reviews and do your research. Invest in some good skincare if you really want to spend the money, because it doesn't matter how amazing your makeup is, if you're, you know, if the base is not solid and not there, it's going to show through. So skincare is one thing I would always definitely recommend investing money in. So there's 3 primers that I've really been loving over the past year or so. And the first one is from Stila, and this is the One Step Correct and Contour Primer. I do tend to get a lot of redness around this area of my face. So I love this to kind of just even out my skin tone, and it's got a nice lotiony feel to it. I'm just going to show it to you. It comes out like that, and it blends out, and it's not heavy, but it's got a nice moisturizing feel to it. It really kind of evens out the skin tone and soaks up into the skin, adds a little bit of extra hydration, and it really makes a great base for your foundation. I love this primer and will be repurchasing it once I run out. Pretty much all of these products are purchase items when and if I run out. The next one is the SMASHBOX Photo Finish Primer, Foundation Primer. I have just a tiny little sample of this. This is one of those very kind of silicone based primers. It's very slippery. It comes out clear. Let me see if I can get some out. I barely have any left in here. So it comes out clear, and then it's one of those beautiful smoothing pore filling primers. I absolutely love this. I'm almost done with the sample, and I will be repurchasing it. That might be one of the items that I repurchased during the sale. I love this primer. It just makes my foundation go on so smooth, so even, and I just think it is worth every single penny. It is oil free. I do like to combine it on days when I'm super dry, just because it's not as moisturizing as the Stila primer, but I love it, and I love using it in conjunction with the next primer, which is the Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer, and I just have a sample of this as well, but I love it. This is one of the most like just beautiful hydrating primers. It's got coconut oil in it. Is it coconut oil? Coconut water. And it is just a great, just moisturizing primer. So it's just really moisturizing, and it has almost a tightening effect on the skin. So what I like to do is use, you know, either this primer or the Photo Finish right in the center of my face, and then I will use this on the outer perimeter where I tend to be more dry. So forehead, you know, outer portion of the cheeks, right around my chin, and I love this primer. And again, I think it's just a great primer if you are super dry, to just add some extra moisture to your face so you have a nice even base for your foundation to go onto. All right, so let's talk about some foundations that I've really been liking that are a little bit more on the pricey side. Again, I love drugstore foundations, but I've found the more, when it comes to your skin and the products that go directly on your skin, you know, sometimes it's worth the money to splurge a little bit. And I have been trying out the Naked Skin Weightless Ultra Definition Liquid Makeup. I am in the shade 0.5. I'm actually wearing it today. I love it. I think it is a beautiful, nice, buildable foundation. You can go very natural to more full coverage. It's not going to be super heavy. I don't find that it oxidizes on me. So I've really, really been enjoying this primer. And it's, you know, around the $40 range. So definitely a pricier foundation, but for the wear time and the way it goes on the skin, I'm really, really happy with it, and I'm glad I have this primer. I find that I'm reaching more and more for high-end foundations and primers. Just again, you know, it's not a knock at drugstore money. Sometimes you get what you pay for, is what I'm trying to say. So sometimes, you know, when I'm going for something that I just really need a reliable, I know it's gonna last all day, I've been kind of leaning more towards higher end foundations. And then the next one y'all have heard me talk about a bunch. It's the NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. I love this stuff. It is so good. I am in Light 2 or Mont Blanc. I have used the heck out of this foundation. I am gonna have to repurchase it very shortly. And I've just got to say, I know that when this first came out, people, you know, especially with drier skin, did not like this foundation. I find that if you do not prep your skin appropriately, you're not going to like it. It's going to cling to dry patches, it's going to be a big old mess, and it's just not going to be very flattering on your skin. But if you take the time to prep your skin, this is one of the most beautiful, light, full coverage, but natural looking foundations I have ever tried. I actually wore this all day at IMATS. I put my makeup on about 7 o'clock in the morning. And when we got to the train station about 2 o'clock at night, it was still looking good. It hadn't broken down. It hadn't oxidized. It wasn't looking oily. It's just a gorgeous, naturally luminous foundation. I absolutely love it. I love it with the Photo Finish primer. And again, I really do have to moisturize. It's a more liquidy foundation, so it's lightweight, but it's very buildable. I find that both of these tend to be, they're a very liquidy foundation, and they go on very light, but it's so easy to build them up and blend it out and just make it look natural. They tend to just melt into your skin and just create a kind of naturally flawless look. And I think this is such a great foundation. And again, it's not gonna be for everybody. I know a lot of people did not like this when it came out, but this is like a ride or die foundation for me. And if you have, you know, dry skin or normal to dry skin, I would highly recommend this foundation. Just know that you do need to prep your skin appropriately to get the you know, best wear out of it. So a powder that I've really been loving, and I've talked about this in my yearly favorites, is the NARS Translucent Powder, Crystal Powder in the pressed version. I love it. I've hit pan on it. I've had this for less than a year. It's just fantastic. It's one of those powders, and it is a pricey item, but you swirl your brush in it and you feel like you get nothing on the skin. But when you set it on your face, it just gives the lightest, most flawless, beautiful coverage. It smooths everything out. It is a great, great powder. I suggest this if you are somebody who worries about fine lines, especially underneath the eyes. It is just a absolutely gorgeous setting powder. I can rely on this all day long. It's just fantastic. And Young Wild and Polish got me, Nicole at Young Wild and Polish got me hooked on that powder. And so as far as another kind of all-purpose highlighting setting bronzer palette, powders. I really love my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder Palette. I love that. I will be repurchasing this. I just hit pan on incandescent light. You guys have seen it. I use this all the time. I love using these as a setting powder. Generally, I'll use radiant light as a setting powder. I'll use incandescent light as an under eye setting powder or a highlight, and I'll use dim light as a bronzer. These are some of the most beautifully soft, gorgeous powders you will ever run into. They're subtle, they're soft, they're just great multitasking powder. If you're somebody who is just super about the intense highlight, you're not gonna like these, but if you're somebody who just wants a beautiful, soft, diffused look to the face with a little bit of luminescence, these are so good. So I absolutely love this palette. I don't think it's something where you need to run out and get every single one. I think you could definitely pick up one or two, or I would say the best value is just picking up the palette because you get a range of colors that are great for a wide variety of different applications to the face. And I've had this for two years, and I'm just now hitting pan, and I use and abuse this thing. So such a great palette. And in that same vein, I would also, if you like that kind of softer, more diffused look, as far as your blushes, I would definitely recommend the Ambient Lighting Blush Palette. This again comes with 3 beautiful shades. You get Luminous Flush, Incandescent, Electra, and Mood Exposure. All of these are gorgeous. They're gorgeous on the skin. They're just soft, they're subtle. Let's see if they're gonna show up. And they just give this beautiful life and glow to your skin. Absolutely stunning. Again, this is $62. I just love these products. They're products that I can just rely on and use, and I know they are pricey, but I would not be recommending them to you if I didn't think they were worth it. And both of these palettes are definite just must-haves in my collection. All right, another blush or blush line that I would highly recommend that I have recently just fell in love with are the Urban Decay Afterglow blushes. I love these. I think they're stunning. They're $26. I think they're on sale at Ulta right now, but these are so beautiful. I picked this one up at Ulta's last 21 Days of Beauty, and I loved it so much that I picked up 3 more at this year's 21 Days of Beauty. This is actually the one in Fetish. I have several other ones. This is just my favorite that I wanted to show you. These are beautiful. They're pigmented. They're blendable. They're not so overly crazy pigmented that you're gonna look like, you know, a lady of the evening, you know what I say, Victorian prostitute wearing these, but they're so gorgeous and just beautiful. And I can't say enough about these blushes. And it's hard for me to talk about higher end blushes because I love my drugstore blushes so much. I'm about to do an affordable drugstore blush video, but these really are worth the money. They're gorgeous. I love the packaging. They're just one of those things that I use, and they make me smile every time I use them just because they're gorgeous and they're great products. So highly recommend those as well. Another kind of just line of products in general that I would recommend, I have several products from this line, but I just thought I'd show this one. And this is the Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone from BECCA. So I have several of their palettes. I have several of their kind of sample sizes. I really like their products. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're very much like the Hourglass, where they're just they have this kind of diffusing property to the skin. So if you're older, a little bit older like me, if you have some texture, if you have some fine lines, these are things that are gonna help you and not accentuate the things that you don't want to show on your face. So I absolutely love these products. I always say these are such great products, but if you can get them in a sale, or if you can get them in a sample set or in a palette, that's the best way to get these products, because these are expensive. These are $38. It's a $38 highlighter. Is it beautiful, and do I think it's a great product? Absolutely. But the reason I'm recommending you maybe trying them out if you haven't already during the VIB sale is because you're going to get a discount, and I'm all about the deal, and I almost dropped that. That would have been heartbreaking. So yeah, I love BECCA products. They just expensive. Finally, I just want to talk about 3 palettes that are just kind of old reliables for me that I think are beautiful, that I think are absolutely worth the money, that I think are going to be great for a wide variety of people, and that I can just rely on. So the first one is from Lorac. You guys know I love the Lorac Pro shadows. I think they're fantastic. They're some of my favorites, but they're not necessarily perfect for everybody. If you're a beginner, or if you're somebody that likes a little bit more subtle eyeshadow look, I would definitely recommend the original Lorac Unzipped. It's beautiful. It's got the rosy tones to it. They're gorgeous. They're pigmented. They're easy to blend out, but they're not so powdery and intense that it's going to be an issue on, you know, putting it on your eye. I mean, they're just absolutely gorgeous shadows. I love them. The formula's a little bit more on the stiff side, and I know sometimes people see that as a bad thing. They want creamy and buttery and, you know, all this. But sometimes if a shadow's a little bit more stiff, it doesn't mean it's not pigmented or not blendable. It just means that it's going to be a little bit easier to blend and build up on the eye. I always tell people when you're doing eye looks, less is more, and you can always build up. You can always, you know, slightly and slowly intensify a look or a color. It is so hard to go in hardcore and then even it up or lighten it up. So I love this palette. I think if you were looking at, you know, one of these rosy tone palettes, the Naked 3, the Lorac Pro 3, you know, what other ones? I mean, there's a million of them out there. This is such a great palette, especially if you're a beginner. I think it's beautiful. And then going along with that same theme, for the slightly more adventurous individual, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette is absolutely stunning. I love this palette. I think it's beautiful. Any tutorials I've done with these, I'll link either up above or down below. I just think you get a gorgeous array of colors. You get just some very wearable neutrals, plus you get just some really interesting pops. You've got like a burgundy, you've got a pink, you've got an orange. So, you know, most people tend to like orange, warmer colors. They tend to, you know, be more flattering on a wider variety of people. And I think this is a great palette that is going to let you just have your everyday neutrals, but is just going to also let you be slightly adventurous in what you do with your eyeshadow looks. The quality of these are amazing. I mean, everybody loves this palette and raves about it. There's a reason for that. It's one of those products that just, it holds up to the hype, and it is so stunningly beautiful. I highly recommend this palette if you're thinking of picking up an eyeshadow palette during the VIB sale. This is definitely one I would recommend. And finally, the last palette I want to talk about is just kind of an old faithful for me. I have the old clunky packaging. This is the Chocolate Bar palette from Too Faced. I love this palette, and I don't even know why I love it, because it's not one that I immediately like get excited to use, but every time, I'm gonna go over here, but every time I use this palette, I love the look. It doesn't matter what I'm doing with this palette, doesn't matter what shades I use, I love the look. And again, this is not one of those palettes that has the most creamy, buttery shades. There are some kind of chunky shades up here, some kind of stiffer shades, but once you get them on the eye, they are just beautiful. This is a gorgeous palette. I love it. You know, the swatches, they're not that impressive. This is why you can't judge a powder product till you apply it to the face. But this is just a never fail me product. Any eye look I create with this, I love the color selection in here. It's very neutral. You can get some very vampy looks out of this. You can get some fun looks out of this. And it's just one of those products that I think that you cannot go wrong with. So again, if you are a beginner and you are looking to invest in an eyeshadow palette, this would be the very first one I recommend to you. It is a great palette. All right, everybody, so those are just my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale coming up this weekend. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know if you like these products, if you have these products, if you hate these products. Let me know what your recommendations are gonna be. And I know, I need to go get some Besame lipsticks. I know, guys. I promise I'm gonna go get some. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys are amazing. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. Have a rockin' week, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.